Blessings, blessings, my sports to the bone people. Back at it again with another video. Thank you all for checking this one out. So, another long day at work. I am actually on my way home. And, I decide to talk some cricket, lovely cricket. Because guess what? I am addicted. This is probably one of the two things that I am addicted to. Cricket and watching Manchester United lose. Right? I guess those are the two things that I am addicted to in life. Now, I was reading earlier and I saw where Sammy was speaking, and he was talking about the West Indies cricket system, and he was saying that the issue or the main issues that they are facing, they are not surface level issues. They run deep. As a matter of fact, Coach Sammy said that it's like a cancer. Yes, it's like a cancer, that's been developing over a period of time. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. We're also going to talk about Sherfane Rutherford. You see where Sammy also said that Sherfane Rutherford, he has reached out to Sherfane Rutherford several times, or they have reached out to him several times to try and get him to play test cricket. But as we know, they can't really convince people what direction to take their career. Sammy himself has said that he cannot tell a man what to do with his career. He cannot tell them when to retire or when not to retire. You understand? But if potential is there, he will obviously try to reach out and see if he can get them in. So before we talk about Sherfane Rutherford, we're also going to talk about, because Sammy's new thing, not only Sammy but the CWI, their new thing seems to be, well, I don't know. I am probably going around in circle, because they said they have a computerized system that they're going to use to select players that are best for conditions and best to go up against certain opponents, right? But at the same time, we see where they're trying to use England's white ball model, where they bring in players from the white ball setup that are doing pretty well and try to get them in. Right, we see what they have done with Shea Hope, right? Rastan Chase, as we see, is there, Brandon King, and they're trying for Sherfane Rutherford. But I have said it before, there's a reason why England can do that, because behind the white ball dominance, these guys, they have some good solid 4-day cricket, or county cricket, if you will. So even though they might not get into the England test team straight away, they might play some good first class cricket, then they play some 1-day cricket and thing and look good, and then they eventually get into the test team, right? But we're going to talk about that, because I've said it on here before that it doesn't necessarily mean it's going to work, because our guys don't have a bag of first class cricket behind them. They might be doing well at the white ball level international, but they don't have a lot of first class cricket behind them. As a matter of fact, I think only Kevlin Anderson in this current group is averaging in the 40s in first class cricket, and it's not like he has a lot of games behind him, right? But Desmond Haynes, remember when Desmond Haynes was selector, one of the things that he tried was to bring in guys that were doing well in the white ball on the white ball scene. He had said that once someone is doing well in ODIs, he's probably gonna try and give them an opportunity. Or once they're doing well in tests, he's gonna probably try and give them an opportunity to play ODIs, just to see, because we know how poor we have been where ODI cricket is concerned. And if my memory serves me right, Nkrumah Bonner, Kemar Roach, and I don't remember if they had brought in Craig Brathwaite, but I remember Nkrumah Bonner, Kemar Roach, and I think there was someone else that they brought in, and it didn't work out. So You know, because a man is performing well in one format doesn't necessarily mean he's going to, it has to work. You know, one man who would definitely answer that or show you that, you know, it don't necessarily mean it's going to work is She-Hope. She-Hope is one of the best ODI players to have played the game. Not only for West Indies, but generally speaking, She-Hope is one of the best ODI players to have played the game. And, you know, we see he's still struggling. But before we get to all of that though, so Darren Sammy was speaking, my people, and as the coach, you know, he's going to feel the pressure. He's going to feel what everyone is saying, right? He's going to feel like everything is aimed at him. So, you know, he was saying that he knows that the team is under the microscope and he as the coach is in the middle of it, is what he was saying, right? The team is under the microscope and he as the coach is in the middle, right? He was saying that they are being criticized by everyone. But that is how the thing going on. You cannot ask. I have always said it that we cannot be blind supporters, you know. We cannot be blind supporters where people just tell you to support and you support. You have to voice your opinion and voice your concern. Not saying that we're supposed to tear down the team and disrespect people. You know, I know some fans will take it to a level where they disrespect the players and things like that in terms of going personal attacks and stuff. You know, we don't want to do that. You know, we don't want to do that. But at the same time, I have said it on here that, you know, if you are mature enough to really watch sports and understand it, you have to critique. You understand? You have to critique. There's always room for that. You know, you can't watch and just remain quiet. So Sammy is saying that, you know, they are being criticized by everyone, but, you know, people need to understand that the root of the problem did not come up 2 years ago. You know, he's saying that the root of the problem, it has always been there. Apparently they know what the problem or the main problems are, right? He's saying that the root, it has been there. You know, it's not like it has been there since 2 years. You know, Sammy was saying that right now it's like a cancer. It's like a cancer. It's not a surface level issue. It runs through right through the system, right? Saying that the problems, you know, they run deep in the system. So, you know, the only thing with that I will say, and you know, and I have said it with other coaches, that when it comes on to a team, you know, sometimes you are given basket to carry water, but you know, you have to try and make do. You have to try and make do. And the thing is, it always comes to a point where, you know, people will start to call for the coach's head, start to call for everybody's head. But if they don't get certain things fixed, you know, replacing people won't make any difference. But it's just how the system is. It's just how the business model is. You know, if you are not producing, even though you probably don't have the right set of tools to produce. If you are not producing, you know, you will be replaced, and the cycle will continue without the team improving. If you understand what I mean, you know, you know, it's the same thing, and I continue to refer to Manchester United, any football, any sports team, right? If there are problems deeply rooted in the team or in the club, and you know, continuously changing managers won't necessarily fix it, or coaches, you won't necessarily fix it. But it's just how the thing is, you know. Once you get to a point, people continue to call for the head of the leader, and then they will be replaced and somebody else coming, and it continues. So that is what Darren Sammy is trying to say. But him being in the position that he is, he's, you know, he can't really just come out and say certain things that I would say. You understand? And I am not connected to these people. I don't call them on a personal level, or I don't ask them for, you know, to do anything. So there are things that I see that I, you know, and other people can see that and will say. But you know, if you're in a position or if you're employed to the company, you know, there are certain things that you, as much as you want to say to see if you can shift some of the blame off yourself, it's probably, you know, you probably cannot do that. So Sammy was saying that, you know, they have a lot of problems and it's like a cancer. It's deeply rooted, you know. So his thing has been, you know, to try and see if he can bring in some white ball players that are performing at a level, right? At a level, to see if they can help out. But I have said it before that I don't think that is the best way to go about it. You understand? I don't think that's the best way to go about it, because as much as our 4-day system isn't good, I personally believe that time spent at the wicket is good. You understand? So I don't believe in bringing people into the thing where they might be talented and they might be better than whatever, but I don't believe that you can just bring in a man that not playing any red ball cricket for 2, 3, 4 years and just put them in the team and think it's gonna work. You understand? So I that is something that I don't appreciate. I've said it before that I've never seen it. You know, you don't sack a coach right after one series, especially after playing at the #1 ranked team at home. You don't necessarily sack a team like that. You understand? Well, not at home. Well, you know, not at their home, but at our home. You don't necessarily sack a man like that, right? But I think people are frustrated because the series prior to that, we had a group of players that, you know, they weren't doing too badly, and people wanted to see some of those guys continue, you know. But the new leadership group, they decided to go a different route, and as I said, I'm not in favor of this thing where, you know, you just bring in white ball players and think that it's going to work. And I mean, because of the quality that these players show at the, you know, especially someone like a She-Hope, based on the fact that he has, you know, we were thinking that he would have matured and stuff. You know, I wasn't 100% in agreement with this, but, you know, I gave it a chance. Because I know that, you know, his quality. So I was hoping that he, especially batting down the order, She-Hope would be able to come in. You know, we have seen where Brandon King is concerned. Personally, you know, he hasn't played a lot of 4-day cricket. You know, he doesn't have the worst average, but personally, I don't really think that, you know, at this time he's ready for test cricket like that. You understand? And, you know, it's just tough. We can see the ability and we can see the potential and stuff. You know, even I have actually said it also that, you know, it would be nice if they could convince somebody like a Sherfane Rutherford and he comes on board, but it doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to work. You understand? Because we see where Sammy is saying that they have reached out to him on numerous occasions, right? And you can't tell a man what to do with his career, right? They said they have reached out to him and, you know, he has declined. You know, at the end of the day, it's a case where we don't even know. We don't know. Okay? We don't know that he would come on and just hit the ground running and start performing and things like that. So, you know, I don't know that putting it out there that you have invited him in and he keeps on turning it down makes any sense. You understand? I don't because at the end of the day, you know, it's tough. It's really tough, my people. But, you know, that is one of the things that Sammy was saying, that Sherfane Rutherford, they reached out to him quite a bit, and, you know, more than once, and he has turned it down. You know, but I mean, he hasn't played 4-day cricket in a while either. You know, I think 2019 was the last time. You know, but I don't know because then again, some of them say, boy, right now it look like the model that they are using, it doesn't really matter. You understand? It doesn't really matter. So the problem is, in the past, even though they didn't disclose a whole lot of things, we could almost understand and guess some of the things in terms of how the players are performing, whether they can or should be selected. But based on how it's going right now, you know, we see people that not really playing any cricket getting selected. So it's tough. I understand the situation that Sammy finds himself in, you know, where he's saying that, you know, they are being constantly criticized and the problem runs deep and all, but, you know, when you find yourself in a job like that, you have to deal with it. You understand? You have to deal with it, and those are just other things. And I mean, Darren Sammy and even the president of CWI, you understand? Darren Sammy and even the president of CWI, they already have this belief that, and some fans believe that Sammy is being pressured because of where he's from. You understand? So he probably feels that if it's even more important for him to get results because people are pressuring him because of where he's from. You know, but as I said, we know all of the problems, you know, are majority of the big issues that they are faced with and things like that. But you know, Sammy just have to go and hold the fort as the leader. You understand? And he has to stand behind the decisions that he has made in terms of the players. So and sometimes when they make a decision, they don't always work out right straight away. So he probably needs to stand behind the guys that he has selected and give them some more games, because it's a tough start against Australia and then against India. It's a tough start, and we know that we're nowhere near the level of these guys. So you know, probably when we get to people that are probably close to where we're at in terms of talent, then we might, you know, he might look good on his side. So you know, tough times, my people. But let me know what your thoughts are in terms of Sammy saying that right now people need to understand that this is it's like a cancer, and it didn't start 2 years ago, and it's right through the system. I mean, if you're following the cricket, you probably know this already, what Sammy is saying, you know. And what are your thoughts on Sherfane Rutherford, you know? Let me know. I'm gonna leave this one right here, my people. Sun's getting really bright right now. I don't know if the camera can show. So big up on yourself, my people.